So I am extremely happy to be on this interview with Les Cassogne, who has had a very long affiliation with the Independent Print Industries Association. Les has spent pretty much his entire career in the print industry, but also as always been sort of 2 steps ahead of the curve for as long as I've known Les, in really being one of the first people to expound the benefits of uniting digital technology and print technology. And it's certainly Les's pursuit and the new projects that he's been working on are extremely interesting. And it certainly chimes in very well with what the IPIA is doing in regards to our new narrative for print advocacy project, because it's really taking that idea of print is digital. You're taking digital data, you're moving it, you're transforming it, you're taking it to print. Ideally, then the print is transforming and getting the user to then engage back to a digital platform to enrich that original data. And we have this wonderful journey where it's not print or digital, it's print and digital working in concert together to improve both mediums. So I'll leave Les to explain, but what you've been doing, Les, is quite revolutionary because you're looking at actually moving that circle the other way around. So tell us all about this new innovation that you've come up with. I know a little bit about it. It sounds exciting. So take it away. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Brendan. I wouldn't say it's a massive new innovation. It's just a little idea, really, and the concept that came out, having spoken to some colleagues one day, quite a while back, colleagues from the print industry and also the design and promotions industry. So to try and explain it as simple as possible, I've spent over 20 years now in digital publishing. Before that, I was in the print industry. So I've spent the last 20 years explaining to people that digital editions or digital versions of their print, if that's a magazine, show guide, whatever it is a good thing to do, and all the reasons for doing that. Now, what happened about 20 years ago is everything changed because the iPhone was born. It's 19 years now, nearly 20 years. The first smartphone, and all of a sudden now that started to become powerful. But I can remember a time when maybe 10% of people used a smartphone. Then it was 20%, then it was 30%. And I was just looking yesterday at some statistics. Let's take LinkedIn as a business format. Now, 70% of people access their LinkedIn via the mobile app. It's even massiver for things like Facebook. 98% of people access and use Facebook via their smartphone. So the concept is the smartphone is king in the digital world. It's massive. Everything has got to work on the phone. Now, as a company, Blue Toad, that does mobile-friendly digital editions, and other vendors, and there's quite a few of them, we have all spent millions of pounds over the years on building systems or finding a way to take a typical size magazine and bring it down to the size of a mobile phone screen, because normally it just won't work. You can't read an ordinary magazine on a mobile phone screen. And in order for it to work is either a lot of expensive design work and things going on. We all want a system that just does it. We input the PDF and out it comes. And we've spent fortunes on that. And a couple of vendors have managed to get there. Blue Toad's one of them, but there's still a little bit of manual intervention at the moment, which may well be changing shortly thanks to AI. And we've spent years doing that. Now, the concept is this, is because some publishers now don't even go to print, they just go to digital, and I think they're missing out there. They don't design it in the normal way. They don't design an A4 layout because it's not going to A4 print. It's going to a mobile phone screen. So they reimagine it to fit the screen. So the concept is, and we were just chatting quite a while ago, and we went, you know what, if we were starting from scratch, if it works that way, if people will read things on a mobile phone, which they do, we all know they do, why wouldn't they read something of that size in print? Kind of makes sense that if I've got something this size, suppose I do a piece of print that's that size. Well, yeah, these little A6 type brochures or whatever they might be, they do work. In fact, they have a little benefit over the digital because it's physical and I'm touching it. I can still open it and get a double page spread. So as long as I'm using the right typeface and the right layout, not trying to put too much information on, we believe, yes, something of this size could be useful. It's got some massive cost savings because it's much cheaper to print this than it is to print A4. One of the things I like about it most is these devices were called mobile phones, smartphones now. But they were called mobile phones for a reason, because we're mobile, I can carry them around. But you know what? I don't want to hold it in my hand all the time. I want to be able to put it in my pocket. Now, if I'm a female, it's pretty easy because most females have a handbag that can sit in, even the smallest handbag. Most of them have a massive handbag. My partner certainly does. But for guys, it's a bit different. Where do we try and put things? In our back pocket, in our side pocket, in our jacket pocket. So something that's quite big, even if I roll it up, is not really portable. This size is. So the whole concept is to have something designed, something printed of this size and nature, the optimum size or the optimum design, that then, because it is designed for that size print, there's no work really needed to take this and put it onto a mobile phone because it's already mobile phone friendly. So therefore there are cost savings on the mobile digital edition side as well as the print side. The distribution cost of something like this is much lower. It doesn't weigh very much. So the cost to physically mail this out or to put it as a supplement in an existing thing or a product dispatch, it just kind of made a lot of sense to us that, hey, something should be done this size, and that's the whole idea, and we think it's going to work really well.
Now, it's super interesting because what it enables is it's just taking away further barriers to entry, and it's also making that transition even smoother. So in this, you've got a digital data set, let's say a customer database. You've got it personalized, and you're now, for example, with the Blue Toad software that the system will be using, it's then taking it from that digital data set into a crafted marketing piece, let's say. And as you said previously, the issue is then, and this is something that the IPA has found from our own national research, the time, the cost, and the complexity of taking that digital representation and turning it into print is one of the barriers that we found in our own research. So if you're removing one of those barriers and making it very easy for people to take something that was designed digitally and just transfer it into now another physical object, because although the phone is physical, it's digital data to a physical phone, it's now also digital data to physical print. I suppose the beauty is as well is that that's then a very accessible way to then utilize the benefits of print, which is massive levels of trust in print. From our own research, and over 95% positivity towards the aesthetic and the use of print, the emotional enjoyment of using print, transferring them into print, but then also then having it linked back into that digital journey. If you've got a digital product or it's a digital marketing device or whatever it is, you're using that, as you said, this small format print to then get them to consume it, but say, hey, go back to the digital app. Go back and use the digital product. So it's just another incentivization mechanism. So does that make sense to you? Do you think that that's part of the appeal of this type of project?
I think that's one of the biggest appeals and makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I've always said, even though I've been in digital publishing for 26 years, that I still love print. And I do personally still love print. And this week I was at an event in Manchester called The Power of Print. And that was excellent. There was 3 or 4 speakers. And I was chatting there and I was saying, it shouldn't be a competition between which is the most powerful. Is print powerful or is digital powerful? They're both powerful. But I'll tell you something, either of them are not the most powerful. Print is not the most powerful. Digital's not the most powerful. What's most powerful is the two of them working together. That is the most powerful thing that anybody can do, is have both of them working in tandem. And I suppose our concept for Optimum Publishing is that actually they are more than close to working with each other. They are the same thing. They're the same layout, the same pictures, the same words. It's an exact replica that works both in print and on a mobile phone.
And if anyone needs any further proof about does this concept work, I can give you a personal story. Um, for about the last 5 years now, the quality of portable instant cameras or instant printers has improved massively. And I know my 12-year-old son has one, and now he's got an app on his phone that links up to this Bluetooth little printer. And when he's out and about, he does go-karting, he does football, hangs out with his mates. They're taking selfies, they're taking photos together. And it's quite a party trick for him to be able to, when he's out with his mates, have the little printer, and he just goes, great, I'll just print these off. And he prints 5 copies off of this little thing for his mates, and they each get a copy. And if you go look at his bedroom, those printed photos that came from a digital app in that small format size, they're not the most incredible quality in the world, but they're pretty good, are plastered all over his bedroom. He likes the convenience of the digital. He loves the phone and to be able to take that quick photo. But what he loves even more is to be able to take that digital image, and instead of it being locked on that phone, is to physically put it out into the real world. And then his mates share it, and they've got those pictures. It's creating those bonds between them. And it's proven, that market for that instant print, Instax type market is growing rapidly. And this is just another extension of it for the commercial print industry.
Yeah, I think so. So, when people say to me, and I still see the headlines, is print dead? Is print dying? Of course it's not. Print will always be here and it's still powerful. It might metamorphose and it might change and it might become more niche. And by doing that, it's probably going to become even more powerful. So one of the other things I like about this size is, the mobile phone was called mobile phone because it's mobile. And for the ladies, they can put it in their handbag, even if it's a really small handbag. For us guys, what do we do with this? We put it in our back pocket, side pocket, jacket pocket. So having the print in something that matches the mobile phone size, again, is very portable. I can put it in my jacket pocket, my back pocket, carry it around with me, hold it in one hand, read it with one hand, turn the pages. It just kind of works, especially for things like maybe show guides, or the cost savings alone. I am sure, I have no doubt whatsoever, we will soon see some proper mobile magazines.
Oh, that's fantastic. So as we wrap up here, be really interesting. You obviously, this is an individual project, but you're also working with Blue Toad on it. Blue Toad are a fantastic IPA member. You support our printed magazine with its digital edition, which we get great traction on. We use that a lot to support our members. So yeah, just give me a last little wrap up about Blue Toad as well and what's going on that side of things, Les.
Sure, yeah. Obviously, business is very, very good. Continues to grow as more people, I would say, nowadays are upgrading their digital experience. There's not many companies left out there, particularly in the magazine publishing, that don't have some kind of digital edition, whether that's just a PDF file on the website or whatever it might be. But I think more of them now are starting to want extra things. They're wanting to take it seriously. They're wanting to get that video and audio in there and do other things. So I won't get stuck into AI, but we as a company are finding AI very interesting and useful. In fact, for us, it's relatively simple. Some tasks that we've been performing for many years to take a print size mag down to a mobile friendly size have been manually done with human teams because it was the only way it can be done. And one thing that's happening with us now is that AI is now doing that for us. So what was once done perhaps manually can now be done via AI engine. And that, of course, is super fast and therefore super cost effective. So we're always aiming, we all know that in the publishing world in particular, costs can be a big factor. Costs often stop people doing something they want to do. So we've been working on bringing the cost of production down for mobile friendly editions.
Oh, fantastic. So if you want to find out more about this new venture, You can connect with Les, whichever platform this is on, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, the IPO website. If you look at the description notes or the LinkedIn post you're watching this on, Les's contact details will be in there, so you can get in touch with him and find out more. So otherwise, Les, thank you so much for your time, and
Thank you,
all the best
Brendan,
of luck.
and for
I
the
look forward,
insight.
yeah, I
Thanks.
look forward to seeing how this develops.
Fantastic.